In the race for economic growth, GDP is the most popular tool to compare the production levels of different countries. Panama, the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, and Guyana are some of the countries that stand out for their accelerated growth in recent years in Latin America, while others such as Venezuela, Argentina, Ecuador, and Bolivia have seen their numbers stagnate. We will see the top 10 countries that will grow the most in 2024 according to the statistics offered by the International Monetary Fund. If the projections are met, this would be quite an unusual year, in which countries that have been growing strongly such as Panama and Chile will be left out of the top 10, while countries that have been in decline for more or less a decade such as Nicaragua and Venezuela will begin to grow again. These will be the 10 countries with the highest economic growth in 2024 in Latin America. Number 10. Peru. Opening the list is a South American nation that has had 6 presidents in the last 4 years. Such political volatility has affected her growth rates. Although it is among the 10 that will grow the most in the region this year, in past years Peru topped the lists and was emerging as a highly promising economy. Rich in natural resources, with a population of 34 million inhabitants, demographically young, showing high growth rates and low levels of debt, Peru seemed unstoppable. Expectations have been moderated and growth of 2.5 is projected by 2024, which is a substantial improvement compared to the previous year 2023, when the economy fell by 0.5. Number 9. El Salvador. This Central American country has traditionally been amongst those that grow the least. Factors such as high crime rates, the constant migration of its young population to other countries, especially to the United States, and rampant corruption have meant that El Salvador rarely exceeded growth rates greater than 3%. 2023 has marked a turning point. Last year, El Salvador grew 3.5%, one of the highest growth rates in its recent history. This was motivated by a drastic reduction in violent crimes and the growth of foreign investment. In 2024, El Salvador expects growth of 3%. Number 8. Guatemala. A country full of natural beauty and a young population that continues to grow strongly, Guatemala has one of the highest fertility rates in the hemisphere. The Guatemalan economy benefits from highly competitive agricultural production and a growing services sector. Industries such as tourism and call center services consolidate their share of the economy year after year. In 2023, Guatemala grew by 3.5%, and this growth rate is expected to repeat in 2024. Number 7. Nicaragua. The civil unrest that broke out in 2018, along with the government crackdown that followed, seriously affected the Nicaraguan economy. During the subsequent years, the economy declined. In that year alone, GDP contracted by 3.3%. After the rebound that the entire world economy experienced following the post-pandemic reopening, Nicaragua returned to the path of growth. And in 2023, it grew by 4.7%, while in 2024, it is expected to grow by 3.5%. The pillars of the Nicaraguan economy are light manufacturing, services, and agriculture. Number 6. Just like other Central American economies on this list, the Honduran economy is based on light manufacturing, services, and agriculture. Another element that it shares with its Central American peers is its dependence on the remittances sent by its migrant population from the United States. Honduras is another country that has traditionally been plagued by high rates of violent crime, which have also affected its economic development. Honduran growth rates generally fluctuate between 3 and 4%, and 2023 was no exception, with growth of 3.5%, which is expected to accelerate slightly in 2024 to reach 3.6%. Number 5. Uruguay. Entering the top 5 of our list, we start with Uruguay, which has been for almost a century one of the countries in Latin America with the best social and economic indicators. According to the World Bank, Uruguay stands out for its high per capita income and its low levels of inequality and poverty. In relative terms, its middle class is the largest in Latin America and the Caribbean, representing more than 60% of its population. Despite all this, 2023 was not a very good year for the Uruguayan economy, which barely grew 0.37% due to a strong drought that hit its agricultural sector. In addition to the fact that its neighboring country, Argentina, suffers strong devaluations of its currency in the free market. A substantially weaker Argentine peso, added to an Argentine government that insisted on keeping it artificially strong, motivated Uruguayans to cross to Argentina to buy goods at a lower price. This money left Uruguay and weakened its domestic consumption. In 2024, a recovery is estimated to reach 3.7%. Number 4. Paraguay, which was for decades the weakest economy in Mercosur, has been surprising with growth rates that tend to exceed those of its neighbors. Paraguay has become a major world exporter of agriculture, livestock, and electricity. It has a population of less than 7 million inhabitants and a territory of 406,000 square kilometers, larger than some European countries such as Germany and England. With a young and homogeneous population and a huge territory rich in natural resources, it has the potential to grow much more. In 2023, it grew by 4.5%, and by 2024, it is expected to grow by 3.7%. Number 3. Costa Rica. The so-called Switzerland of Central America, due to its sustained stability and high social indicators, Costa Rica is a solid, diversified economy with significant penetration of technological sectors. Other industries where Costa Rica is highly competitive are tourism, light manufacturing, call centers, agriculture, and the export of electricity. Costa Rica is a magnet for foreign investment, and its industries have already developed a culture of foreign trade. Costa Rica has an advantage over its neighbors in terms of strong institutions and legal security. The budget deficit, which was the headache of Costa Rican government for years, has been decreasing. In 2023, Costa Rica grew 5.1%, meaning that it ranked among the fastest growing countries. In 2024, growth of 3.9% is expected. Number 2. Venezuela may be the biggest surprise in this list, occupying the second place among Latin American countries that will grow the most in 2024. De facto dollarization, although not officially, has provided the long-awaited stability that Venezuelan economic agents needed in order to operate efficiently. For a country that contracted year after year at rates of 17, 15, 20, 28, and 30%, having grown 4% in 2023 does not constitute at all a restitution of what was lost. But at least we can be thankful that the bottom has already been hit and the Venezuelan economy is beginning to rise. One of the factors that benefited Venezuela was the fact that the United States lifted sanctions on its oil industry. In 2024, it is expected that Venezuela can grow another 4%. However, after the IMF made these estimates, the United States government reimposed sanctions on Venezuelan oil. It remains to be seen whether such growth can be achieved. Before revealing the number 1 spot, it is important to clarify that many countries were left out of this list because they are significantly small economies. Countries like the Caribbean states of St. Kitts and Nevis or Grenada, for example. But there is a country that has a population of barely 800,000 inhabitants and is growing at a dizzying rate: Guyana. I will talk about that country in an upcoming video where I will discuss the close alliance between Guyana and the Dominican Republic. Having clarified this, number 1, Dominican Republic. The largest economy in Central America and the Caribbean, and the 7th largest in Latin America, the Dominican Republic is expected to grow by 5.35% in 2024 according to the International Monetary Fund. The Dominican economy is diversified among sectors such as tourism, exports of manufacturing from free zones, call centers, services, mining, agriculture, among others. It has been modernizing its infrastructure over the years to have a solid road network, in addition to power plants, renewables, and tourism infrastructure. The Dominican economy grew by 2.4% in 2023, which is less than it is used to, but since the final months of 2023 and the first months of 2024, it has been experiencing an acceleration. The last month for which data is available, February 2024, the economy grew by 6.2% compared to the same month in 2023. I'm interested in hearing your opinion. Are these projections too optimistic, or do they fall short? What prevents some countries in this region from growing more than projected, or what can help them exceed expectations? Don't leave without letting me know in the comments.